The silver exploration vessel Harmony drifted through the darkness at the edge of our solar system. Captain Hannah Park stood on the bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the star maps displayed on the main screen. The ship had been sent to investigate unusual energy readings near Pluto, but so far they have found nothing unusual. "Captain, I'm detecting multiple objects approaching at high speed," said Communications Officer June, his voice tight with concern. Hannah frowned. "Natural bodies or vessels?" "Definitely vessels, Captain. Large ones. Their configuration doesn't match anything in our database." The bridge fell silent. Humanity had been searching for signs of intelligent life beyond Earth for centuries. Now, on what was supposed to be a routine mission, they might have found it. "Show me," Hannah ordered. The screen shifted to show a formation of sleek, angular ships with strange purple lights pulsing along their hulls. They moved with impossible precision, surrounding the much smaller Harmony with practiced efficiency. "They're transmitting something," Jones said. I think they're trying to communicate." "Put it through," Hannah said, straightening her uniform jacket. The main screen flickered and displayed the image of a tall, thin being. Its skin was pale blue with intricate markings that seemed to shift and move. 6 yellow eyes blinked independently across its elongated face. "I am Supreme Commander Rock of the Valkyrie Dominion," the alien said, its voice oddly musical despite the threatening stance. "Your vessel has been detected in Dominion territory." Hannah stepped forward. "I am Captain Hannah Park of Earth's exploration vessel Harmony. We were unaware of any territorial claims in this region. We come in peace and would welcome peaceful dialogue." The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. "Humans, your species will be integrated into the Dominion. Surrender now." The bridge crew exchanged alarmed glances. Hannah kept her face calm despite her racing heart. "Commander Rock, there must be a misunderstanding. Earth has no quarrel with your people. We prefer peaceful relations. Perhaps we can." "Primitives do not dictate terms," the alien interrupted. "Your technology is primitive. Your defenses inadequate. Submission is the only logical choice." Hannah noticed the weapons officer's screen flashing warnings. The alien ships were powering up their weapons systems. "Commander, please reconsider. War would benefit neither of our peoples," Hannah said, signaling her crew to begin emergency protocols. "War?" Rock's multiple eyes blinked in sequence. "This is not war. This is pest control. Your species will serve the Dominion or be eradicated." Hannah turned to her communications officer and whispered, "Prepare the quantum transmission to Earth. Include all scanned data of their ships and this conversation." Chief Engineer Min approached her console. "Captain, their weapons systems are unlike anything we've seen. If they fire, our shields won't hold for more than a few seconds." The alien commander spoke again. "Your primitive vessel is already scanned and analyzed. Your defenses are irrelevant. Signal your surrender." Hannah straightened her back and looked directly at the alien. "The people of Earth do not surrender to threats, Commander Rock. We have existed for thousands of years without your guidance. We will continue to do so." "Foolish," Rock said. "You have made your choice." The transmission cut off. Almost immediately, the ship rocked as the first energy blast hit their shields. "Shields at 60%, shouted Min. "Is the transmission ready?" Hannah asked June. "Yes, Captain. Ready to send." Another blast hit them, more powerful than the first. Warning alarms blared across the bridge. "Shields failing," Min called out. "Hull breach on deck 4. Hannah grabbed the edge of her console as the ship shuddered violently. "Send the transmission now." June worked frantically at his station. "Transmitting. It's going through." The lights on the bridge flickered and died, replaced by the dim red glow of emergency lighting. The ship groaned as another blast tore through its defenses. Hannah activated the emergency recorder, knowing these might be her final words. Her voice was calm despite the chaos around her. "This is Captain Hannah Park of the Harmony. Earth is facing an imminent invasion by a hostile species called the Valkyrie. They demand our surrender and integration into their empire. They've attacked without provocation. She paused as another explosion rocked the ship. Do not surrender. Prepare defenses. Her eyes narrowed as she delivered her final message. They want war? You'll get your war. The transmission sent just as the bridge erupted in flames and darkness. On Earth, billions of humans were about to learn they were not alone in the universe, and that their first contact would be their last moment of peace for a very long time. The emergency message from Captain Hannah Park reached Earth 3 days after the Harmony was destroyed. The transmission, containing the Valkyrie threat and the ship's scanned data of the alien vessels, was first received by the Luna Base monitoring station. Within hours, every government leader on Earth had seen the footage. Panic spread quickly. Religious extremists claimed the end times had arrived. Stock markets crashed. Military forces worldwide went on high alert. For the first time in history, humanity faced an existential threat from beyond their world. 7 days after the message arrived, the United Earth Council convened in Geneva. This emergency body, composed of representatives from every nation, gathered in a heavily guarded underground facility. The mood was somber as they watched the recording of Captain Park's final transmission once more. Director Sung Kim, formerly South Korea's defense minister and now appointed head of the newly formed Human Defense Initiative, stood before the assembled leaders. He was a small man with silver-streaked hair and a face hardened by decades of military service. The Valkyrie believe us weak. They're mistaken, he said, his voice firm and steady. Captain Park gave her life to warn us. We will not waste her sacrifice. A representative from Brazil raised her hand. The aliens' technology is clearly far beyond ours. How can we possibly defend against them? Kim nodded to a woman seated at the side of the room. Dr. Min-ji stood and activated the central display, showing detailed analysis of the Valkyrie ships. We've studied the scan data from the Harmony, she explained. Their technology is advanced, yes, but not incomprehensible. Their energy weapons operate on principles similar to our experimental plasma systems. Their hull materials show vulnerabilities to certain frequencies. Most importantly, we recovered debris from the Harmony's destruction that contains intact Valkyrie components. The room buzzed with surprised whispers. Kim continued, We have already begun reverse engineering their technology. We estimate it would have taken us 50 years to develop these advancements independently. Thanks to Captain Park, we now have a starting point. Across the planet, the greatest transformation in human history had begun. Factory lines producing cars and household appliances were rapidly converted to build weapon systems and chip components. University research labs shifted focus to alien technology. Former rival nations shared military secrets and scientific breakthroughs. At the newly constructed Orbital Command Center, Admiral Taho Lee studied tactical displays showing simulations of Valkyrie attack patterns. Lee had been the commander of Pacific Fleet operations before the alien encounter. Now he was responsible for creating Earth's first true space navy. Their ships move in rigid formations, he told his international team of officers. They rely on overwhelming firepower rather than tactical flexibility. We'll adapt their technology against them, but fight in our own way. The displays showed smaller, more agile Earth vessels darting between the larger Valkyrie ships. We cannot match them ship for ship, Lee explained. So we won't try. We'll build vessels designed to exploit the weaknesses Dr. Min has identified. One officer looked doubtful. Sir, even with their technology, we're outnumbered and outgunned. Lee smiled grimly. Throughout history, humans have faced stronger enemies. We survived because we adapted. We're not just building ships. We're creating new tactics the Valkyrie have never encountered. In orbit around Earth, massive construction platforms took shape. Shipyards built in haste produced vessels, incorporating the reverse-engineered alien tech. The first prototype, the Defiance, was completed in record time. Scientists working around the clock made breakthrough after breakthrough. Dr. Min's team discovered the Valkyrie shielding systems could be disrupted by specific electromagnetic frequencies. Weapon systems were developed to exploit this weakness. 6 months after the first contact, Earth had built a small but capable defense fleet. Military personnel from all nations trained together in the new ships, learning to operate technology that would have seemed like magic a year earlier. Admiral Lee gathered his officers on the bridge of the Defiance for its maiden voyage. The ship hummed with power systems based on Valkyrie designs, but improved by human ingenuity. "The enemy believes they know what to expect from us," he told them, looking at each face in turn. "They see a primitive species they can easily conquer. They expect us to cower or fight conventionally and lose." He activated the ship's main drive, and the Defiance moved away from Earth with a grace that belied its deadly purpose. "We won't fight as they expect," Taiho told his officers, his eyes reflecting the stars beyond the viewport. "Humans have always excelled at the unexpected. And soon, the Valkyrie will learn it the hard way." The Earth fleet waited silently among Jupiter's moons. 10 ships, hidden in the shadows of Ganymede, Europa, and Callisto, powered down to minimal systems to avoid detection. For 3 weeks they had practiced and prepared, watching as Valkyrie supply vessels hauled the same route through the solar system, clearly unconcerned about any human threat. Admiral Tahoe Lee stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance. The ship was Earth's first true warship built with adapted alien technology. It was smaller than the Valkyrie cruisers, but faster and more maneuverable. Lee watched the tactical display as 5 red dots approached. Valkyrie supply ships escorted by 2 warships. "They're right on schedule," said Navigation Officer Han. "Arrogant. They don't even vary their course." Lee nodded. "They think we're hiding on Earth, building defenses. They don't expect us out here." He touched his communication panel. "All ships, prepare to execute on my mark." The Valkyrie ships drew closer, their purple energy signatures bright on the tactical screens. "Now," Lee said calmly, "attack pattern Delta." The Earth fleet powered up simultaneously. The Defiance and 3 other ships launched from Ganymede's shadow. 3 more vessels emerged from behind Europa, while the remaining ships appeared from Callisto's dark side. "All weapons hot," Weapons Officer Kang reported. "Target locked on lead escort." Lee watched as the Valkyrie ships registered the sudden appearance of the Earth fleet. Their formations began to shift, but too slowly. "Fire," ordered Lee. The Defiance released a barrage of modified plasma weapons, based on Valkyrie technology, but adjusted to frequencies their shields couldn't block. The blue energy pulse struck the lead escort ship, bypassing its shields and tearing through its hull. The Earth ships executed their carefully planned maneuvers, attacking from multiple angles. The Valkyrie, accustomed to enemies who fought in predictable patterns, struggled to respond to the seemingly chaotic human assault. "Second escort is targeting us," Kang warned. "Evasive pattern Sigma," Lee ordered. The Defiance rolled and changed direction with an agility no Valkyrie ship could match. The enemy's energy blast missed by kilometers. The battle lasted less than 15 minutes. When it ended, both Valkyrie escorts were crippled, and 3 supply ships had been captured. The remaining 2 supply vessels jumped into faster-than-light travel, escaping back toward the outer system. "Let them go," Lee said. "We want them to report what happened here." He turned to his communications officer. "Signal the boarding teams. Secure those ships and any prisoners." On the captured Valkyrie supply cruiser designated Target 2, Officer Jin Woo Park led his boarding team through the alien corridors. The ship's interior was strange. Angles that seemed wrong to human eyes, lighting that pulsed in patterns that gave some team members headaches. "Life signs ahead," said Surgeon Moon, checking her scanner. "One signature, different from the others we've encountered." They approached a sealed door. Technical Specialist Yoon plugged a device into the alien panel, running the code sequences they'd developed to hack Valkyrie systems. "Got it," he said as the door slid open. Inside was not the typical Valkyrie crew member they had expected. This alien was taller, its skin a deeper blue with more elaborate markings. It wore what appeared to be an ornate uniform. An officer, Jinwoo realized. Maybe even the captain. The alien stared at them with its multiple yellow eyes. It made no move to attack or escape. Jinwoo ordered his team to secure the room, then approached the alien. He activated the translation device developed from Captain Park's first contact recording. "I am Officer Jinwoo Park of Earth," he said. "You are now our prisoner." The alien's eyes blinked in sequence. "I am Sub-Commander Telk of the Valkyrie Dominion." The translation came through. "You fight with our weapons. How is this possible?" Jinwoo didn't answer that question. Instead, he asked one of his own. "Why attack us? Earth never threatened your people." The alien made a gesture with its long fingers that the translation device couldn't interpret. "The Dominion expands. It is our purpose. Your world has resources. Your people will serve." "We will not serve," Jinwoo replied firmly. "As you've just seen." "This battle means nothing," the alien said, but Jinwoo noticed a subtle change in its posture. "The Dominion has conquered hundreds of worlds. Your resistance is temporary. Were those other worlds warned? Did they have time to prepare?" The alien's eyes widened slightly. "The Emperor said humans were docile prey. You are not." Jinwoo smiled slightly. "No, we are not." He touched his communicator. "Admiral, we have a high-ranking prisoner, requesting transport to the Defiance." As the Earth fleet regrouped and prepared to vanish back into the asteroid belt with their captured ships and valuable prisoner, Admiral Lee sent a tight-beam transmission to Earth. "First strike successful. The Valkyrie now know we can fight. And soon, they'll learn we can win." Smoke filled the sky above Seoul as Valkyrie troops advanced through the once beautiful city. They moved in tight formations, six-limbed soldiers in environmental suits with weapons that could burn through concrete. Buildings that had stood for decades crumbled under their assault. The Han River glowed faintly purple where their ships had contaminated the water. Lieutenant Yoonji Kim pressed herself against the wall of the underground tunnel, listening to the heavy footsteps of Valkyrie soldiers passing overhead. Her resistance cell, 20 men and women who had once been office workers, teachers, and students, waited silently behind her. They carried a mix of conventional weapons and modified devices that incorporated reverse-engineered alien technology. "Clear," she whispered after the sounds faded. "Move quickly." They hurried through the tunnel, part of an old subway system that had been abandoned years before the invasion. The Resistance had mapped these underground pathways across the city, using them to strike at the invaders before disappearing. 3 weeks had passed since the Valkyrie fleet had broken through Earth's orbital defenses. The space battle had been fierce. Humanity's ships fought bravely, but they were ultimately overwhelmed by the sheer number of enemy vessels. The Valkyrie Emperor himself had come to oversee the subjugation of the troublesome humans. Yeonjai led her team to a hidden entrance that opened into the basement of what had once been a research hospital. The building above was damaged but still standing. Inside the reinforced basement, a makeshift laboratory had been established. Dr. Ji Hyun-yoon looked up from her microscope as they entered. She had been Seoul National University's top microbiologist before the invasion. Now she worked with limited equipment in this underground lab. "You're back," she said, relief evident in her tired voice. "Did you get it?" Yeonji nodded, removing the sealed container from her backpack. Inside was a damaged piece of a Valkyrie environmental suit they had recovered from an ambush site. "Perfect," Dr. Yoon said, taking the container. "This confirms what we suspected." She led Yoonji to her workstation, where several cultures were growing in sealed dishes. Microscope images on a tablet showed strange cellular structures. "Their environmental suits can't handle our bacteria," reported Dr. Ji Hyun-yoon. "The filters are designed for their world's microorganisms, not Earth's. Several common bacteria can penetrate the suit material at its connection points." Yeonji understood immediately. "We can weaponize this weakness." "Yes," Dr. Yoon nodded. I've identified 3 bacteria that cause severe reactions in Valkyrie physiology. They're harmless to humans, but act like powerful toxins to the aliens. We can culture these bacteria and develop delivery systems. Aerosols, water contaminants. How soon? 3 days for the first batch. We'll need to distribute it to resistance cells throughout the city. Yunji touched her communication device. I'll alert the network. This could change everything. Miles above the ruined city, the massive Valkyrie flagship hung in low orbit. The Emperor's personal vessel was a city unto itself, with thousands of crew members and soldiers. Its weapons could level mountains if the Emperor wished it. In a service corridor on the ship's lower deck, Commander Soo-Jin Park moved carefully to avoid detection. She wore a stolen Valkyrie maintenance worker uniform, modified to accommodate her human form. The universal translator at her throat would allow her to respond if spoken to, but she hoped to avoid any interaction. Soo-Jin had volunteered for this mission, knowing she might not return. As the daughter of Captain Hana Park, the first human to encounter the Valkyrie, she felt a personal responsibility to see this through. The infiltration had been months in planning. When the Valkyrie flagship arrived in Earth orbit, Admiral Lee had deployed Operation Trojan. Soo-Jin and 3 other operatives had been launched in specially designed pods that attached to the flagship during the battle, appearing as debris to Valkyrie sensors. She reached the primary environmental control junction, exactly where the intelligence gathered from their Valkyrie prisoner said it would be. 2 of her team members had been captured trying to reach their objectives. The third status was unknown. Soo-Jin was possibly the only one left. She removed a small device from a hidden pocket. It looked simple, but contained Earth's most advanced technology combined with adapted Valkyrie systems. Once connected to the flagship's environmental controls, it would begin the systematic introduction of Dr. Yoon's cultivated bacteria throughout the ship's air and water systems. Soo-Jin carefully opened the access panel and connected the device. It immediately blended with the alien technology, its lights changing to match the Valkyrie systems. Within hours, every Valkyrie on the ship, including the Emperor, would be exposed. Connection established, whispered a voice in her earpiece. The third team member was alive and had succeeded in accessing the ship's communication system. You have 4 minutes before the next maintenance check. Soo-Jin finished securing the device. As she closed the panel, she whispered words meant for herself alone. This is for my mother. She slipped away down the corridor, her part of the mission complete. Now she needed to reach the emergency extraction point, where a stealth shuttle would attempt to retrieve any surviving operatives. Above Seoul, the massive flagship continued its ominous vigil, unaware that its defeat had already begun. The massive Valkyrie Imperial fleet hung in space near Saturn's rings. 100 warships, including the Emperor's new flagship, had arrived to crush Earth once and for all. Their previous attacks had been repelled, first by the unexpected space guerrilla tactics, then by the biological countermeasures that had decimated their ground forces. The Emperor himself had barely escaped when his original flagship became contaminated. Now, 6 months later, he had returned with the full might of the Dominion. His orders were simple: exterminate all humans and strip the planet of resources. Imperial fleet in position. Excellence, reported High Commander Krell. Earth Defense Forces detected, but they are minimal. Victory is assured. The Emperor's 6 eyes blinked in sequence. Begin the attack. No mercy. Before Krell could relay the order, a junior officer interrupted. Excellence. Multiple jump signatures detected. Space seemed to ripple and tear as dozens of ships appeared around the Imperial fleet. Some were clearly Earth vessels, the improved models built with fully integrated Valkyrie technology. But others were of unfamiliar design, with distinctive markings and configurations. Identify those ships, the Emperor demanded. They appear to be Zithran, Excellence, and Morican, and Tellarite. The officer's voice betrayed his confusion. All are subject worlds of the Dominion. The communication system activated without authorization. Admiral Tahoe Lee's face appeared on the command screen. Emperor of the Valkyrie, this is Admiral Lee of Earth Defense Forces. Your fleet is surrounded. You are outnumbered for the first time in your conquest history. The Emperor hissed in rage. How dare you? Those ships belong to our subject worlds. Former subject worlds, Lee corrected. When Commander Park infiltrated your flagship, she didn't just plant biological agents. She downloaded your entire Imperial database, including the locations of all your conquered territories and the suppression methods you used on them. Another alien appeared beside Lee on the screen, a Zithran with iridescent scales and 4 arms. The humans shared this information with us, it said. They helped us overthrow your governors while your attention was focused on Earth. A third figure joined them, a massive Morrican with stone-like skin. The Dominion is collapsing, Emperor. Already 27 worlds have declared independence. The Emperor's rage was terrible to behold. You will all be destroyed for this treachery. Earth most of all. Look at your tactical display, Lee suggested calmly. Your ships are surrounded 3-1. We've already demonstrated our ability to neutralize your technology. Surrender now, and no more Valkyrie need die today. The Emperor checked the display and saw the truth. The combined fleet of Earth and liberated worlds had positioned themselves perfectly. Many of the ships showed weapon signatures the Emperor had never seen before. Clearly, the rebellious species had been sharing technology. You fought when you should have submitted, the Emperor hissed. Admiral Lee's voice was steady. We fought because that's what humans do when threatened. Remember that before threatening another species, the Battle of Saturn lasted less than an hour. When it ended, the Valkyrie Imperial fleet was in ruins, and the Emperor himself was taken prisoner. The agreement that followed was not kind to the Dominion, but it was fair, more fair than the Valkyrie had been to their conquered worlds. 5 years passed. The galaxy changed dramatically as the former Dominion transformed into the Galactic Alliance, a cooperative of independent worlds working together for mutual benefit. Earth, because of its role in ending the Valkyrie tyranny, was given a prominent position in the new order. At the newly constructed Galactic Council headquarters on a neutral world called Harmony, representatives from over 50 species gathered for the 5th anniversary of the Alliance's founding. The Great Chamber was designed to accommodate beings of all shapes and sizes, from the tiny Moor to the massive Tellarites. Ambassador Soo Jin Park, wearing the formal blue uniform of Earth's diplomatic corps, approached the central podium. The daughter of the first contact captain and the hero who had infiltrated the Emperor's flagship had become Earth's voice in galactic affairs. The chamber fell silent as she began to speak. Her translator conveyed her words in 20 different languages simultaneously. 5 years ago, my world faced extinction at the hands of those who believed might makes right. We survived because we refused to submit to tyranny, but also because we reached out to others who suffered the same fate. She looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes, stalks, and sensory organs of dozens of different species. The lesson we all learned was simple. No species can dominate forever, but together, we can build something that lasts. Earth stands ready to defend peace throughout the galaxy. Not as conquerors, but as equals. In the back of the chamber, Admiral Lee, now older but still sharp, nodded in satisfaction. Humanity had found its place among the stars, not through conquest as the Valkyrie had attempted, but through cooperation and the fierce determination that had always defined their species. When the Valkyrie had demanded Earth's surrender, Captain Hannah Park had promised them more instead. What she could not have known was that her defiance would ultimately lead to peace for hundreds of worlds across the galaxy.